Auspicious greetings to all Dharma friends around the world. I'm Miao Zang from Shan Shifang Temple, San Diego. Today is October 1st, which is also the World Vegetarian Day and kicks off October as Vegetarian Awareness Month. To celebrate this event, I would like to share the topic, Go Green with Compassion, with you today by discussing Sutta 55 from Majjhima Nikaya. This sutta highlights the development of vegetarianism, focusing on the right intention and embracing the practice of compassion in our everyday diet. Many of us might have questions on why Chinese Buddhism emphasizes on vegetarianism and how this practice develops over time. This all happened 2,600 years ago. On one occasion, when the Buddha was living at Rajagaha in the mango grove, Jivaka, who was the Buddha's personal physician, asked the Buddha about the 3 instances in which meat should not be eaten. The Buddha explained, Jivaka, I say that there are 3 instances in which meat should not be eaten: when it is seen, heard, or suspected that the living being has been slaughtered for oneself. I say that meat should not be eaten in these 3 instances. As we know, during the Buddha's time, all monastics went from one house to another for food every day. They catered to the local customs when begging for alms and giving people the convenience of offering what they had. They accepted what was given, not differentiating between meat and vegetables, but having a mind with equanimity in receiving the food offered. Thus, the Buddha does not require his disciples to observe a vegetarian diet, stating that meat may be consumed if they are confident that the animal has not been slaughtered specifically for them. This is also known as pure in 3 aspects, because it is not seen, heard, or suspected to come from an animal killed specifically for the monastics. However, one should not kill or harm others. How and why most of the Mahayana Buddhist monastics observe vegetarian diet? When Buddhism was first introduced in China in the 1st century, alms begging was not feasible due to the local customs, climate, and the environment. Eventually, the monastics settled in monasteries to share the Dharma. Living in a monastery means facilities like kitchen and storage became available. Thus, the practice of going for alms begging gradually evolved into having meals at the temple. When this adaptation was made, vegetarianism that advocates the practice of compassion was made possible. During the reign of Emperor Wu of Liang Dynasty, which is around the first half of the 6th century, the emperor laid down the rule that all Buddhist monastics must adhere to a vegetarian diet and abstain from alcohol. In his famous article on abstinence of meat and alcohol, the emperor describes how abstaining from meat is a compassionate practice which all Buddhists should follow. Furthermore, the practice of vegetarianism was also influenced by Confucius, and this practice was well received by many until today. The Confucian once said, "Having seen the animal alive, how can one bear to see it die? Having heard its noise, how can one bear to eat its flesh?" Hence, vegetarianism became a daily practice for the Chinese monastics. In this sutta, the Buddha continues, "Here, Jivaka, some bhikkhus live in dependence upon a certain village or town. He abides pervading one quarter with a mind imbued with loving kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity. Likewise the second, likewise the third, likewise the fourth. So above, below, around, and everywhere. To all as to himself, he abides pervading the all-encompassing world with a mind imbued with loving kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity, abundant, exalted, immeasurable, without hostility, and without ill will." When we accept food from others, we should be grateful for all the efforts put into preparing the meal. We should not give rise to hatred or ill will to the giver. Our intention of eating is to nourish our physical body. No matter how our loved ones cook for us, we try to give rise to a mind of loving kindness and appreciation. Everything comes about only when there are right causes and conditions. Thus, cherish what we were given. It might not be easy sometimes, but if our mind is filled with ill will, what will happen to our body? The Buddha continues, "Then the householder or householder's son serves him with good alms food. He, bhikkhu, does not think, 'How good that the householder or householder's son serves me with good alms food.' If only a householder or householder's son serves me with such good alms food in the future, he does not think thus." How would we usually react when we were served delicious food? Most of us will appreciate eating, and we might give rise to thoughts of having seconds. Sometimes, we might also get carried away by the greed for the taste and keep repeating this reaction mindlessly. Thus, it is important for us to have reminders to ourselves. In Guang Shan's dining hall, there is a couplet that says, "A bowl of congee or rice comes ardently," reminding us that we should appreciate whatever we receive by others. We have the practice of the 5-meal contemplation in every meal. The 5-meal contemplation is as follows. First, assess the amount of work involved. Weigh up the origins of the food. Second, reflect on one's own moral conduct. Perfect or not, take this offering. Third, safeguard the mind against all errors. Do not give rise to hatred or greed. Fourth, regard this food as good medicine, so as to treat the weakened body. Fifth, in order to accomplish the way, one deserves to accept this food. This contemplation constantly reminds us to appreciate all the work involved in preparing the food. observing our daily conducts to align with the Dharma, not focusing on the taste of food, but the nutrients from the food will help sustain our daily practice. Even though Chinese Mahayana Buddhist monastics no longer practice alms round, we have formal Buddhist meals every day, where all practitioners receive what are given in bowls and plates, and dedicate merits to the donors, and all efforts being put into this meal. Before the meal, we say our prayers by offering the meals to the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and patrons, and conclude our meals with meal completion first. In today's society, many people opt to have vegetarian meals for many reasons, like compassion for animals, health, global warming issues, and etc. I've included a few people whom you might have known in different countries who opt to be a vegetarian. According to the ResearchGate data, there are an estimated of 1.5 billion vegetarians globally, which is about 22% of the world's population. If you haven't tried a vegetarian meal, you can pledge to have one meatless Monday or any day which is convenient for you. By doing so, not only you practice compassion towards the animals, you will help in the reduction of tree cutting by 0.5 tree, reduction on carbon emission by 156 kg, which is equivalent to 344 pounds, saving 83,772 liters of water, which is equivalent to 22,130 gallons of water, and reduction of food waste by 1,061 kg, and also equivalent to 2,340 pounds. The Buddhist Light International Association, or BLIA, has launched a website, vegdays.org, encouraging everyone across the globe to pledge to have vegetarian or vegan meals, and you can see for yourself the impact you're making for this planet Earth. To conclude, our intention in our everyday conduct matters. Thus, in this sutra, the Buddha reminds us the practice of compassion towards others and a mind of gratitude towards the sharing and offering of others in our everyday meal. Although Buddhism is not against the consumption of meat, its advocacy of not killing demonstrates the equanimity, compassion, and oneness befitting all lives. This is in perfect accord with the modern ideals of environmental preservation and animal protection. Thank you for listening to our weekly Foguang Shan English Dharma service. May the Buddha bless you and family. See you next week. Amen.